all went out. We have to go to Dunkirk.
As Dunkirk tittered on the brink, over 800 civilian boats joined the Royal Navy in a daring rescue, saving nearly 340,000 soldiers. Among them, 30 Thames sailing barges. Their flat bottoms, perfect for shallow waters, helped to ferry thousands to safety, proving that even humble vessels could become heroes. In today's video, as I build the Thames sailing barge Will Everard, we will dive into the history of these sturdy, flat-bottomed vessels, admired for their efficiency, adaptability, and elegant sail design. By the way, in this video, I will be sharing what I have learned about Thames barges. If you are looking for a detailed build process and tips for completing this model, I have created a series of quick instruction videos that you can check out. This 1:67 scale kit from Building Boats is considered beginner-friendly. Well, actually, this is my second time building it. My very first wooden model ship was this exact kit years ago. It's what got me hooked on the hobby, and I learned a ton from this first build. You might be wondering, why did I pick this kit for my very first build? To be honest, the main reason I picked this kit was the price. At around $100, it was hard to pass up. For a model of this size, there just isn't many other options in that range. It ended up taking me somewhere between 200 and 300 hours to build. But really, that was 300 hours of pure enjoyment. I'd say that's a pretty great return on investment. Alright, let's go back to the Thames barge, a classic sailing vessel that once roamed the waters of Thames and east coast of England. At their peak in the late 19th and early 20th century, there were an estimated 2,000 to 2,500 of these barges in operation. You'd find them everywhere from the Thames estuary and the English Channel to narrow inland waterways. But what made this barge so popular back then? Well, the story actually started way back in the 1600s. Early barges were simple, flat-bottomed craft usually towed or rowed. They were built for one job, moving cargo in and out of places like London, where shallow, tidal rivers made navigation tricky. No sails, no frills, just solid, hard-working boats. As trade grew in the 1700s, particularly around the Thames and Medway, barge builders began experimenting with sails. That's when the spritsail rig became the go-to design for Thames barges. So what exactly is a spritsail? And why was it perfect choice for these barges? I will explain that in a moment as we work on the sails. By the 1800s, the Thames barge had evolved into the sleek, practical vessel we recognize today. With this flat bottom, it could easily sail up creeks or even beach itself. Leeboards replaced the deep keel, allowing the barge to sail upwind without needing much depth. The wide beam maximized cargo space, enabling this barge to carry up to 120 tons. So what exactly are leeboards, and why were they so important? Leeboards are simple, yet a brilliant feature on Thames sailing barges. Since these barges had flat bottoms instead of deep keels, they need extra stability to sail efficiently. That's where leeboards came in. These large wooden or metal boards are mounted on the sides of the hull and can be lowered into the water to act like a temporary keel. When sailing upwind, the leeboard on the downwind side is lowered. This reduces the sideways drift and helps the barge stay on course, while the other leeboard remains up to avoid an unnecessary drag. This clever system allowed the Thames barge to navigate shallow waters, estuaries, and tidal rivers while still handling well under sail. And here is the cool detail. The mast could be lowered to sneak under bridges. Every part of the design was focused on efficiency. In fact, 2 people could run the whole operation, even in tight spaces. Thanks to all these efficient design features, Thames barge became a backbone of local trade in England from the late 1800s to early 1900s. One of the most famous Thames barge was the Will Everard, built in 1925 by F.T. Everard and Sons. This steel-hulled barge was designed for coastal trade, hauling cargo like grain and coal along the Thames and the East Coast. Unlike older wooden barges, its steel construction made it more durable and efficient. The Everard family was well known in British maritime history, with a fleet of both sailing and motor barges. Founded by F.T. Everard in the late 19th century, their company specialized in coastal trade, moving goods like grain, coal, and seamen across the region. Between May 26 and June 4, 1940, the Will Everard, along with about 30 other Thames barges, joined a group of civilian vessels, including fishing boats, yachts, and merchant ships, in the historic Dunkirk evacuation, also known as the Little Ships of Dunkirk. This was part of the Operation Dynamo, where over 800 boats and ships helped evacuate nearly 340,000 British and Allied soldiers from the beach of Dunkirk, France, as German forces closed in. While many of these barges made it back safely, some weren't as lucky. Take the Ethel Everard, for example, a 1926-built barge that didn't survive the operation. The exact details of her sinking isn't widely known, but it's believed she was either shelled or bombed by German aircraft, a fate that befell many smaller vessels caught in the dangerous waters. The area around Dunkirk was a war zone, with constant air raids and attacks from enemy forces. The crews of this Thames barge displayed extraordinary bravery, playing a crucial role in the success of Operation Dynamo. Their actions stand as a powerful testament to the Dunkirk spirit, a spirit of unyielding courage, resilience, and solidarity in the face of overwhelming adversity. As I reflect on that incredible moment in history, I'm deeply grateful for the peaceful time we're living today, in a safe place where we can enjoy our lives. None of this would be possible without the sacrifices made by our brave soldiers and crews. Their courage continues to inspire, and we owe them everything. The Will Everard is still around today, though it has undergone significant changes over the years. After serving as a working vessel for many decades, it was eventually retired from active duty. Thankfully, it was preserved and restored as part of Britain's maritime heritage. Now, the Will Everard is part of the Will Everard Trust and operates as a heritage vessel. It frequently participated in historic sailing events and public displays. Restored in its original condition, the barge continues to represent the iconic Thames sailing barge, a true symbol of maritime history. Based in the UK, the Will Everard can often be found at the traditional regattas and the sailing events, especially on the Thames and the East Coast. A few other restored barges still sail for heritage and leisure purposes, keeping the legacy of these remarkable vessels alive. One such event is the Thames Barge Match, the world's oldest organized sailing race, which has been held since 1863, started by London businessman Henry Dodd. The race was initially designed to test the speed and the skills of working Thames barge crews. It quickly became an annual tradition, inspiring similar races along the East Coast, even as steamship and motorized transport began to dominate. Enthusiasts keep the tradition alive. By the 1960s and 70s, the focus shifted from cargo transport to heritage sailing, and today, restored Thames barge continue to compete, celebrating Britain's maritime past and timeless ship design. Speaking of iconic vessels, the 2017 film Dunkirk, directed by Christopher Nolan, featured the specific Thames barge, the Maid of Mist. This restored Thames sailing barge was used for scenes depicting the civilian boats that helped evacuate soldiers from the beach of Dunkirk. While the film also used various real boats, some of the more intricate battle and evacuation sequences relied on models and CGI. Nevertheless, the inclusion of the Maid of the Mist was a fitting tribute to the real little ships of Dunkirk, which played a crucial role in the evacuation. To create the film's evacuation scenes, the filmmakers made a mix of practical effects, real boats, and models. Many of the water scenes were filmed on a location in the English Channel, with the boats like the Maid of the Mist aside military vessels and smaller boats. Some larger sequences, such as aerial dogfights and naval action, were shot using CGI, but the real boats and the practical effects helped maintain a grounded, visceral feel. Now remember we were talking about the spritsail? So what exactly is it? The spritsail is the large, full-sided sail you will see on a Thames barge, set on a diagonal spar called a sprit, unlike a triangular sail on modern boats. The spritsail looks more like a tilted rectangle. The beauty of the spritsail lies in its simplicity. It's easy to handle, powerful enough to move a heavy barge, and doesn't require a boom, which keeps the deck clear for loading and unloading cargo. Even better, the mast can be quickly lowered to pass under bridges. Perfect for river work. And if you look closely, you will often spot a small triangular topsail above it, catching extra wind higher up. One of the moments that truly resonated with me in Dunkirk was the epic homecoming scene, brilliantly performed by Sir Kenneth Branagh. I realized this project was about more than just assembling a ship model. It's about the legacy and the spirit that these barges represent. There is a sense of appreciation, a spark of inspiration that comes from understanding of the true meaning behind these vessels. Maybe that's the reason I'm so passionate about this hobby. So let's take a moment to enjoy the peace and safety we have today, and I will catch you in the next video.